Welcome to Virtual Garden Club. This is our first lesson. We're going to do winter sowing. Winter sowing is kind of like creating mini greenhouses. And we're going to leave them outside all winter long. You don't need to do anything else to them except wait for them to grow, right? When they're ready, the concept is if we put them outside, the seeds will grow whenever the environment tells them. When they're ready, when they feel it, they will grow on their own, right? They don't need any extra help from us. So for this activity, you'll need an empty container. I like to use the gallons, empty gallons. It could be milk or water, juice rinsed out. But you can also use these little ones, okay? If you have something like this, you can use this, like my empty tomatoes. You'll need duct tape. You will need a permanent marker. Now, let me say this. I like to use Sharpie Extreme because it's fade resistant. And since this is going to be outside in the sun, winter sun, spring sun, it doesn't matter. The sun fades things. So I like to use the Extreme. If you don't have the Extreme, don't worry about it. You can use whatever permanent marker you have. All right. The next thing you'll need are some seeds. Okay. Usually I give the kids seeds, but since we're not there, you guys can get whatever seeds you like. They're between $2 and $3 seeds. Or if you go to the dollar store, you might find them there, right? And think about what you want to grow and get your seeds. Then you're going to need a pair of scissors. Okay. Now I'm going to say this. All these activities that we do should be supervised by an adult. Just as if we were in the classroom, a teacher would be there with the kids, just in case. We're not doing anything crazy. All these lessons are geared towards children, but just in case, they might need a little help with something, especially the younger ones, okay? The next thing besides the scissors, you might need to use, we need to write the name of the plant, right, at some point. So if you want to be super green, going green, Miss Montalvo loves to go green, you can reuse a plastic spoon or fork that you have laying around that you already used. Instead of throwing it out, you can save it and write the plant's name on it, okay? Or you can buy, at the dollar store, they have plant tags, little plant labels, and you can write them on here too if you want to buy those. You can, but like I said, you can reuse if you have something laying around, right? We're on a budget, guys, a budget. So let's not spend any more than we have to. Sometimes people use like popsicle sticks to write the names of the plants. But the reason I don't want to use these is because sometimes when water gets on them, the marker starts to drip, or we don't want that. So we're not using wood right now. Even though wood is the most sustainable. I don't like plastic, but we're going to try to reuse in this lesson. All right. So the first thing you want to do is you want to make holes at the bottom of your container because these plants, right, need somewhere to drain. They need to drain the water out. Plants don't like to stay wet and soggy, right? So we need to make sure there's holes. If you already have a container with holes, like this one has holes, you don't have to make them, okay? But if you do, and this is where, please get a grown-up to help you. Usually I have bigger kids and they're able to do this by themselves. But if you're at home, please get a grown-up to help you. I usually take a pair of garden scissors. My garden scissors are pointier, right? Usually the kids' scissors are blunt. They're round. It's not easy to make a hole with these little scissors. So usually we take a pair of scissors, like garden scissors or the pointy scissors. So get a grown-up's help. Do not do this by yourself. Unless you're an older student and your mom or dad says it's okay, right? So then you just make holes. I'm going to poke a little hole, see? I poked one hole in there. I'm going to make about 4 holes. 1, 2. I'm seeing, that's why you might need an adult's help. Some people use a drill. If you're an adult with a drill, you can use a small drill. But I don't need to use a drill. I'll just poke a hole in here. Okay. All right. So we have our 4 holes for drainage. Okay. Now we take off the cap. We do not need this cap. Okay. Bye-bye, cap. We're never going to use this again, not even when you put it outside. Now, the next step is to cut it open, all right? For these, you don't need to cut it open. It already obviously opens it on its own. But if you're using a gallon container, some other container, you have to cut it open. Now, this is what I like to do. I like to start at the handle. We're not cutting the whole top off, okay? So we're going to start at the handle. Okay, usually I start about there, and I just go around. Doesn't have to be perfect. And you draw your line all the way, and then you try to, like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, okay? All right. Then, get a grown-up to help you again. Okay, I'm going to use my really sharp ones this time. Now, let me say this. When you make your hole, right, and your line, okay, you're going to make a hole here, grab it by the handle, and you're going to cut. I'll use my kids. See, let your kids use the kid scissors. The parents, the kids could cut this part. This is easy. So you're going to follow the line, but don't cut all the handle off, okay? You're going to cut, follow your line. Like I tell my pre-K kids, open, close, open, close. But follow your line the best you can. Okay. Now, when you get to the handle, stop, okay? Don't cut the handle off. We want to leave it like this. So it should be in two parts. As a matter of fact, when you're drawing the line, you don't even have to draw it all the way so that they know to stop over there, okay? Now, the next thing we want to do is fill this with soil, okay? Let's talk about soil. All right, there's a special listing. We're going to use potting soil, but soils have a special label on it that tell you it's organic, okay? Now, if we, like, I have a bag of Miracle Grow here, but it's organic. It's in the black bag. Okay, it's potting soil, right? But any potting soil you use, you want to try to make sure it has the OMRI sign on it, right? Because, let me show you over here. Let's see, where is it? Where are you? Where are you? Oh, it's over here on the bottom of this one. But that lets you know it's organic and that there's no chemical fertilizers in there, okay? We're at School 28 Garden. We are an organic garden. We do not use pesticides that have chemicals. We don't use pesticides to kill bugs unless they're organic, and it's really necessary to maintain our crops, our food, our veggies, but and no chemicals, okay? So try to make sure your soil has the OMRI listing on it, but that's potting soil. I mean, if you don't have it, we're using what we have, guys. These are tough times, so we use what we have. Now, you're going to also need some water over here. And you'll also, if you want to get like a little cup to scoop out your soil, you can. And a little bowl, okay? And this is for, this is when we're done, so we can clean up our mess, right? We're not leaving mom and dad's space a mess because we don't want them to get upset with us. All right, so we're going to fill everything with soil, but I'm going to put this in the bowl like this so that when we're ready to add the water, we don't want water dripping all over our space. As a matter of fact, if you have a table, you might want to cover it with newspaper if you don't want it to get dirty. Or you could just, you know, clean up after you're done. But I put newspaper on my table so that way it won't be a big mess. All right, here we go. So let's add our soil. Okay. Now you want to fill it. Okay, keep filling it. Fill it up, fill it up. Okay. It doesn't have to be to the tippy top. But as you can see, like more or less like that much is left. All right. Now we want to add a little bit of water. You know, I don't use garden gloves too often. I don't mind getting my hands dirty. I find it very therapeutic. but we want to water it now. The reason I water it now is because seeds are very delicate, right? So if I put my seeds first and then I add the water, the seeds might move around. They might, you know, get tossed and turned and moved with water. We don't want that to happen, right? Because some seeds are so tiny, and water is definitely capable of moving them around. So you want to make sure your soil is moist, right? Water it until you see it coming out from the bottom, because we're not watering it ever again. Whatever water it has now, okay, I'm gonna water it a little bit more. I'm gonna get my hands a little dirty here, make sure it's very wet. Okay, let's see, is it coming out from the bottom? Oh, yep, I see it dripping, and that's why we have this bowl here, so we're not making a crazy big mess. All right, we're done with this. Now, if you wanted to do it in this container, don't fill it all the way up to the top, okay? Because when your plants start growing, they're gonna touch this faster. See, this top has more space for your plants to grow, but this is a smaller height. So we don't want to fill it all the way up to the top. All right, so right about there, right? That way, if we close it, our plants have about 3 to 4 inches to grow in there. Okay, so now after it's, oh, and let's add some water here, but I'm gonna add water here, over here. Ooh, the water went through fast. All right, I'm gonna get another bowl, just so that this is not making a big mess all over my table. All right, we're done with the water. Okay, we don't need any more water. Now we need seeds. Let's talk seeds, guys. Okay, now let's think about what you want to grow, right? Maybe you don't have a lot of space outside. Maybe you have to grow something, you know, that's small, like lettuce, right? Lettuce doesn't take a lot of space, but if you have more space, maybe you want to grow a tomato plant, right? That's taller, takes about maybe about 24 square feet to grow. So I'm not 24 square feet. Oh my gosh, 2 square feet to grow. 24 square feet is a lot. So yeah, think about what you want to grow, and then you can go get those seeds. But there are some plants that you can't grow in this kind of situation because they don't like to be transplanted. That means after these grow, most likely we're going to take them and put them into the soil so they have more outside, so they have more space to grow. Like we have a garden at school, but maybe you have a small space at home. You can grow something outside. You might want to take this and put it in the ground so they have more space to grow. Now, if you don't have any space at home to put this outside, like a small, then maybe you can give it to a neighbor or somebody who has space that can watch it for you. Or if you have a little bit of space outside but like no gardens area, you can actually do something like lettuce, where you can just leave it in here and just grow it in here until it gets bigger. Okay, so that's up to you. So you have to think about your home, what you have available to you, and then adjust it accordingly. Okay, so let's do, I bought some different seeds to show you. There's kale. This one is cool. It's called dinosaur kale, right? Because they call it dinosaur kale because the leaf looks like the skin of a dinosaur. You can try to grow spinach, but spinach doesn't like to be moved too much, right? Spinach. So spinach is one of those things that you might probably want to leave here and not move into your garden space. They like to be directly planted. You could try some lettuce. Lettuce is another one. You could just leave it in there and wait till it grows and eat it from there. And then I bought a tomato. Okay, maybe a tomato we want to grow bigger, in a bigger space. So let's get some seeds. Now, you can always use your finger, okay? But if you have like a stick, I reused the chopstick, right? A chopstick. And actually, I learned this cool trick at a workshop one time. You can actually measure it, because some seeds don't go all the, we're not making big holes for these seeds, right? Because they're teeny tiny. Some of them need to go down 1/2 inch. Some of them need to go down 1/4 inch. Some of them need to go down a full inch. Okay, so I actually marked off my chopstick for inch, 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, if you needed an idea of how far it is. Okay, so let's do, in the little one, I'm going to do some lettuce. Okay, and then we're gonna keep the lettuce in here and see how it grows. Gardening is like experiments, guys, because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes we try new things. Miss Montalvo always likes to try new things. All right, so I'm gonna put about 4 seeds in here. Maybe they will all grow. You never want to just put one seed, because if you only put one of them might grow, and then the other one might not, and then if you put one, it might grow, it might not grow, and then you're in trouble if it doesn't grow. So let's read the seed packet first. It says barely cover. Okay, barely cover means don't put it too deep. So I'm gonna use the 1/4 inch. That means the tiniest little hole. And I'm gonna put them here. I'm gonna drop them in, boop, and cover it up. Drop it in and cover it up. Drop it in and cover it up. Drop it in and cover it up. And then if you're like a crazy plant person like me, and you want to say, oh, grow little seeds, grow, that's cool too. All right, then the next one is a bigger plant. Okay, so I'm gonna grow tomatoes. I wouldn't recommend, you can grow tomatoes in here, but when they're ready, they might start getting a little bit taller. So I like to grow the tomato seed starts in something that's a little bit taller like this. Okay, now let's put some tomatoes. I'm gonna put 4 seeds in here. Okay, we'll see how many grow. Okay, let's see how deep for this one. This one says nothing. It says nothing. So I'm gonna do 1/2 inch. Some seed packets say it and some don't. If you want to look it up ahead of time, you can. Okay, I'm gonna drop these seeds in. Okay, cover up the hole. All right, now we have to remember what we planted, right? Because some people do a lot of these, right? They might do like 20, 30 and just leave them outside. And when they're ready to grow, they grow on their own. Okay, so over here, all right, if my spoon is not, if my spoon that I'm going to use, write the name on it, it's not big enough, I mean, it's too tall, you can always cut it, right? We can cut it here. Let's see if it will. No. Let's see. I'm going to have to cut this really short. Okay, there we go. Now it fits. All right. So over here, I'm growing green gem lettuce. Okay, so I'm going to take my Sharpie and write green gem lettuce. Okay, and I'm going to stick it in. And I'm going to close it. This one I don't need tape because this one already kind of snaps by itself, right? Okay, so I'm going to write February 1st on there, on the outside. Okay, and then let's do a label for tomatoes, okay? This might not have a lot of space, that's okay. Maybe you even want to stick it in like this. Let's see if it closes. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to write over here what kind of tomatoes. These are Italian grape tomatoes, okay? Italian grape tomatoes. So I'm going to write Italian grape tomatoes. It has an extra name on there, Pandorino. If you want to write Pandorino, you could do that too. Okay, I'm going to stick it in. All right, now for these, this is where we need the tape. So actually, I'm going to take a paper towel, wipe down the bottom of this because there was a lot of water. Okay. All right, now this I'm gonna put on the side. Okay, now here, I'm gonna put this here. If you wanna put another paper towel, you can. I'm gonna put this one down here. Soak up any extra water. All right, now we have to seal it, okay? We're gonna seal it, and we will not open it up until it's ready, until we see it's grown enough, okay? So you're gonna get duct tape about this size. Oh. So we're gonna close it up all the way around. It's just nice and tight. Okay. And then with your fingers, smooth it, make sure you smooth it out so that it has contact with all the sides. We don't want any air gaps if possible. Make sure it's all sealed up. And now on the outside, I like to write the same thing. I like to write what I grew. So over here, it was Italian grape tomato. And write the date. Today is February 1st. All right, now, even though it's snowing outside right now, guys, I am going to put these outside. We don't cover it. It doesn't matter if it rains on them. It doesn't matter if it snows on them. That's okay. When they are ready to grow, they will grow. And that's it, guys. And you can grow whatever you want, however many you want. And you leave them outside. So hopefully you'll try it out. If you can't try it out, you can think about maybe what would you like to grow if you had the opportunity, okay? I know all of these things, everybody won't be able to do all the things, but, try what you can, right? That's what Garden Club is about, learning something new and trying it out. All right, guys, so I'm going to go put these outside. I'll show you what they look like. And then maybe in a few weeks, well, more like a few months, we'll start to see some growth, okay? And then we can transplant them when they're ready to go. All right, guys, so we are going to Mrs. Montalvo's backyard right here. And as you see, it's crazy snowing. So I'm gonna put it right here. See, it doesn't matter if it's snowing, raining. Just put them anywhere you have space and just leave them until the spring. I'm gonna leave them there all winter, and when they're ready in the springtime, they will start growing on their own.